Hello, this is Mr. Anderson from Community College. We're going to be doing section 8.6, Solving Rational Equations in the Blitzer book for Mathematics 101, Beginning Algebra. Now, from the last video that you watched, we looked at adding and subtracting expressions that do not have a common denominator. I strongly recommend you watch that video before trying this section. Or the previous section. But what I have here is solving for x. Now you'll notice that in this case it looks like there are lots of fractions to be had. There's lots of x's around, and what we're going to do is a little trick to get rid of all these fractions, and that's multiplying by the least common denominator. Now what I would suggest is that you also have some scrap paper handy, because I have spaced out this worksheet so that there's lots of room to write. You may need more room than what I provide to you on those worksheets. So first thing I'm going to do is have maybe just a little bit, when we get to the start of the second problem, there's going to be a little twist to these, but really we're going to get rid of these fractions instead of getting a common denominator and then adding with fractions. There's a way to get rid of all the fractions, and that's to multiply everything. So everything by the least common denominator. So instead of getting a 30 for each of these denominators, what I'm going to do is, since I know the 5 and 6, the smallest number they can both make is 30, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything by 30. So that means x over 5 is multiplied by 30, x over 6 is multiplied by 30, and 1 is multiplied by 30. Now this is not the same as getting common denominators. What happens here is when you multiply by 30, you get 30 over 5. But 30 over 5 can be simplified if I do cross canceling here, or simplifying. That would make 6. So this is 6x, and then 30 divided by 6 is 5, which would make 5x, and 30 isn't divided by anything, so 30 times 1 is 30. So if I subtract 5x from both sides, I get the answer of 1x is equal to 30, or just x is equal to 30. Now, what's important about this process is that I got rid of the fractions by multiplying by the least common denominator instead of getting a common denominator. It's a great trick that you'll be using in this class and in classes beyond this to get rid of any kind of rational function. But there's one little trick. When we get to this kind of a problem, the one that has the x's in the denominator, we got to look out for danger numbers. Numbers that where if I plug this equation into the denominator, this would divide by 0. So in this case, since x is the only known it's the only thing in one of these expressions, if I said x equal to 0, this is the danger number. So this, I cannot have my answer be 0 no matter how much I want it to be. Now, what's the common denominator of x, 3, and x? Well, this one has an x, this one has a 3, this one has an x. So really we have to look at, we have x's and 3's. They have nothing in common with each other. So we have, x here and 3 here. So that means I need to multiply the x by the 3, or I need to multiply the 3 by the x, and that means my common denominator is going to be 3x. So 3x is my common denominator, so I'm going to multiply everything by 3x. 5x times 3x, 1/3 times 3x, and 6 over x times 3x. Now we're going to look for cross canceling. The x's cancel out here, so that leaves me with 5 times 3, 15. The 3's cancel out here, so 1 times 3 is, or 1 times x is x, and the x's cancel out, which 6 times 3 makes 18. Now what would you rather solve? This equation or this equation? Yeah, I agree, this equation. Now, one thing I'm saying about my language here is, notice I'm saying canceling. In proper mathematics, there really is no canceling. It is actual simplification. So when I say cancel, if you're really trying to be persnickety about it, it really is simplification. So x is equal to 3, and since it did not hit my danger zone number of x equals 0, that's a valid answer. Alright, we've got lots of examples to do, and so here we go. trying to look for a common denominator here. Now, since we have so many multiple denominators, it's going to be difficult to use a Venn diagram. So let's just look at our numbers, 2, 9, 18, and 3. What's the smallest number that 2, 9, 18, and 3 can all make? Whoops, I grabbed the wrong writing tool. There we go. So 2, 9, 18, and 3. Well, I believe all of them can make 18. See, 2 times 9 can make 18, 9 times 2 can make 18, 18 times 1 can make 18, and 3 times 6 can make 18. So that right there is the common denominator. 18 is going to be part of our LCD. But you'll also notice that there is an x nearby, and the x also needs to be multiplied by everything, so that is our least common denominator of 18x. So every single part, and I would really write these problems out. I know you probably want to squeak them in between the space that I have written for you on the worksheet here, but my goodness, if you're going to get these right on the test, you're going to want to rewrite these. A little bit of work is a lot less mess than you think. Alright, and here's what I do too. Make sure all of your negatives are positive by swiping, because I don't like subtraction, so I would just change these to a plus, negative, and that'll make things easier. Okay, so crisscross simplification. 2 and 18 make 9. X and X, those cross out as well. So 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, 9 and 18, that makes 2, but there's nothing that crosses out the x, so this makes negative 16x. And then this is equal to 18 divided by 18. That leaves me with x. And then we have plus a negative 3. Wait, 3 divided by 18 is 6. X divided by x, those simplify as well. That makes a negative 6. So now I get to solve for x. I'm going to move my x to the left-hand side. Actually, let me move it to the right-hand side. So I'm going to move 16x to the right. Normally I move letters to left, but I just want to show you that this is perfectly fine. 17x plus negative 6. I got 45. Add the 6 to both sides. Whoa, sorry about that. 51 is equal to 17x. Divide both sides by 17. And we do the work there. 51 divided by 17, 3 is equal to x, or x is equal to 3. Now, one thing I neglected to do at the beginning of this problem is look for danger numbers. Now, since 2x and 3x are the only things in the denominator, if I set 3x equal to 0 and solve for x, then x is equal to 0. Or if I set 2x is equal to 0, and then solve for x, I would get the same thing, x is equal to 0. So x cannot be 0 in this answer, and since my answer of 3 did not match my x cannot be equal to 0, then that's a valid answer. Alright, now in this case, we've got x plus 1 and x minus 3. In the Venn diagram of common denominators, these have no overlap, because I've got x plus 1 and x minus 3, so there's nothing that these have in common. So I have to multiply the left side to get the right side to get the left side. So my least common denominator here is going to be x plus 1, x minus 3. So I'm going to multiply everything by x plus 1, x minus 3. And yes, I really strongly suggest you write these out again, because we did this in class on the worksheet, and it got really small and cramped, didn't it? X plus 1, x minus 3. Alright, and these cross out, and these cross out. So I got 7x minus 3 is equal to 5x plus 1. And we're still trying to solve for x here, so what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the 7x minus 21, distribute the 5x plus 5, move the 5x to the left. Got to remember all of our algebra skills from the previous chapters here. And move the 21 to the right. So I got 2x is equal to 26. Divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 13. Now what I didn't do at the beginning of the problem is look for danger numbers. If I go up here and set my x plus 1 equal to 0, x plus 1 equals 0, then I get my answer of x equals 1, so that's one of my danger numbers. X cannot be equal to 1. Actually, negative 1. Sorry about the negative. And if I then subtract, I put my x minus 3 equal to 0. If I add the 3 to both sides, I get x equals 3. I cross out the 3. Sorry that looks so messy. That really is x is not equal to 3. Well, luckily 13 is not 1, nor is it negative 1, nor is it 3. So that is our valid answer. So I'm really going to try to make sure on these two problems here. Let me just get that out of the way. Just to make sure that we have our danger numbers first. So in this problem up here, I'm going to tell myself, okay, I got x in the denominator, so x cannot be equal to 0. So x cannot be equal to 0, because if I set x equal to 0, then that's my danger number. So make sure of that. So what's my common denominator here? Looks like my common denominator is 4x. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4x. Alright, so I've got x over 4 times 4x minus 4 over x times 4x equals 0 times 4x. So here the 4's cross out, so I got x squared. Here I've got the 4's also cross out here as well. Oh, sorry, that was an x down there below. Wow, whoops. So the x's cancel out and the 4's do not, so that makes negative 16. Haha. And that's equal to 0 times 4, which is 4. Oh, sweet, this is a difference of squares. So now I'm going to go x plus 4, x minus 4, and that's equal to 0. So now if I set x plus 4 equal to 0 and solve for x, this like I did in the last chapter, x equals negative 4. And I got x minus 4 equals 0. I add the 4 to both sides. I got x is equal to 4. So my two answers are x equals 4, x equals negative 4. Did it hit my danger zone number? No, it didn't. So it looks like I'm okay. Now I'm really going to start this problem off on the right foot. I'm going to look for my danger numbers first. So I'm going to go 2x plus 3 equals 0 and see what that answer is. Subtract 3. So 2x is equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to negative 1.5 or negative 3 halves. So that's a danger number. No, can't have it. Then I'm going to go x minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. X is equal to 2. Blam, there's the other danger number. So these are my two danger numbers. I'll keep those off to the side. Now, to get the lowest common denominator, I'll multiply each side by its denominator, because my LCD is going to be the combination of 2x plus 3. Woo, can make that a little nicer. And x minus 2. So here I go. I got x minus 1 times the quantity of 2x plus 3 and x minus 2. And in the denominator, now I have 2x plus 3, which is going to cross out there. In my numerator here, I got 6, and I've got 2x plus 3. I got x minus 2. I'm going to set that over x minus 2. So those cross out, and these cross out. So now what I have over here is x minus 1, x minus 2, which I can FOIL now. So I'm going to go x squared minus 2x minus 1x, and I'll leave that there since I'm not at my final answer, plus 2. And here I'll distribute the 6, so this is 12x plus 18. Now, to solve for x here, I'm going to have to move everything over to the left-hand side and get this equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract the 12x from these guys. So that's going to make a x squared minus 2x minus 1x minus 12x, which is negative 15x. Alright, and then I'm going to subtract the 18 over here from the 2, and that's going to give me negative 16. Alright, so 2, 1, 12, and it looks like I got everything right here so far, and I'm going to bring down the x squared. Alright, now what I've got to do is think of two numbers that multiply to make 16, add to make negative 15. Well, that's pretty easy, because that's going to be x minus 16 and x plus 1 equals 0. So here x is equal to positive 16. If I set x minus 16 equal to 0, I'd get that answer. And if I set my x plus 1 equal to 0, I get the answer of x equals -1. Now I'm going to check and see if my two answers match the danger zone answers. They don't, so hallelujah. Here we go, guys. These are our two answers for this problem. Yeah, quite involved, right? Got to know how to FOIL, got to know how to factor, got to know how to get common denominators. A nice culmination of the unit here. And it looks like we got 4 more to go. Okay, the first thing we're going to do with this problem is we are going to take a look at this common denominator, and it looks like our common denominator is pretty easy to find, but before we do, we got to look for our danger numbers. And our danger number in this case is x plus 2 equals 0, so x cannot be equal to -2. Subtracting the 2 gets us that answer. So I'm going to multiply everything by the common denominator, which is x plus 2. So now I have 10 over x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 3 times x plus 2 minus, or plus negative, 5x over x plus 2 times x plus 2. So let's see what simplification we have here. We've got these x plus 2's simplify, so 10 is equal to. Now I got 3x plus 2, which is 3x plus 6, and these x plus 2's all go away, so that means -5x is left there. Do some simplification. I'm going to combine these two here to make a total of -2x plus 6 equals 10. I'm going to subtract the 6 from both sides. Awesome. That makes +4 equals -2x. And then I get an answer when I divide by -2. I get an answer of x is equal to -2. Alright, but here's a problem. Notice that was my danger number. If my answer matches the danger number, then there is no solution. And you'll see the book use the 0 with a line through it. That's called empty set, which means that there are no answers in this solution system. Alright, over here. Now, you can kind of see that the x squared minus 16 is going to be x plus 4 and x minus 4. And I think it's pretty fast to say that you're going to have two answers here with two danger number answers. So x cannot be equal to +4 and -4. And how I got those is that I plugged this in for 0 and this in for 0. Now, these are my danger numbers, so if my answers come up either 4 or -4, I have to throw them out. And now what I'm going to do is multiply everything by the least common denominator, which is x plus 4, x minus 4. So I got 1 over x plus 4 times x plus 4, x minus 4. I got 1 over x minus 4, which is multiplied by x plus 4, x minus 4. And then I've got 22, which is going to be multiplied by x plus 4, x minus 4. Look at the way I'm writing it. So these are going to just quickly crisscross out. And here my x plus 4's cross out. Here my x minus 4's cross out. So now what I have left is 1 times x minus 4 is x minus 4. Plus 1 times x plus 4 is x plus 4. And that's equal to 22. So all my denominators are gone. And now I get to solve for x here. 2x plus 0 equals 22. X is equal to 11 when I divide both sides by 2. They don't match the danger numbers, so we're good to go. Alright, there's a small typo in this problem. We do have to fix some things here, so we're going to make this a plus. I'm going to make that, keep that a minus there. So you'll notice that now that was just a typo. This has nothing to do with like a swipe or changing from negative to positive. I made a mistake when making this worksheet, so that should be a plus. So doing that gives me a factorable problem. This denominator can be factored into x plus 3x minus 2, which happens to be our least common denominator. And our danger zone numbers are x cannot be equal to -3 and x cannot be equal to +2. By setting these equal to 0 and solving for x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the numerator and x plus 3 and multiply by x plus 3, x minus 2. Then take my plus 5, which is over x minus 2, and multiply that by x plus 3, x minus 2. and then set that equal to negative 20. I know I'm running out of space here, but I'll erase this before I do the next problem, which is over x plus 3x minus 2, which I will then multiply by x plus 3 and x minus 2. Crisscross simplification. Goodbye x plus 3's, goodbye x minus 2's, goodbye all four of these. So now I've got 6 times the quantity of x plus 2, or minus 2, I'll put a plus negative, plus 5 times the quantity of x plus 3 is equal to negative 20. Alright, let's see what this makes. I got 6x minus 12 plus 5x plus 15 equals negative 20. Okay, let's combine the 6x and 5x to make 11x. Let's combine the negative 12 and 15 to make a positive 3. And let's make that negative 20. Alright, subtract 3 from both sides. 11x is equal to negative 23. Divide both sides by 11. X is equal to, well, negative 23 elevenths, which is not any of the danger numbers. So we're good to go on that problem. Now, of course, you can pause this and rewind it, but I'm going to clear this out for my last problem. Bloop. And you'll notice that this is another an easy factoring problem. And this problem is factorable by doing this. X minus 4, and then x plus 2. That multiplies to make negative 8 and adds to make a negative 2. That's our least common denominator, and our danger zone numbers. X cannot be equal to 4, x cannot be equal to negative 2. If I set those equal to 0, that's where we'd get those answers. So let's kind of put those off in the corner there. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start this way over here. 1 over x minus 4 times the quantity of x minus 4, x plus 2. Now our purpose there is to cross those out. Negative or plus negative 5 right there. So now I've got x plus 2 times the quantity of x minus 4, x plus 2. And then I'm going to cross these out. Goodbye, goodbye. And then this is going to be over x minus 4, x plus 2, which is x minus 4, x plus 2 on the top there. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. So here's what we got left. 1 times x minus 2, or x plus 2, is just x plus 2. Negative 5 times x minus 4 is negative 5x plus 20. And then what we have is 6, because everything else simplified over here. Now let's keep working. X minus 5x is negative 4x, because that's really 1 and negative 5. 2 and 20 make 22 equals 6. Subtract 22 from both sides. Negative 4x is equal to negative 16. Divide both sides by negative 4. X is equal to positive 4. Alright, we got our x equal to 4. Oh no, that was one of my danger numbers up there. No solution, folks. When you find that your answer is a danger number or matches one of your danger numbers, then you have no solution. Alright, thanks for watching.